Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I was due in Nashville, Tennessee, and today I want to celebrate the Minecraft Snapshot 13W19A, or 13 Whiskey 19 Alpha, for those of you who prefer the NATO, phonetic alphabet, or the November Alpha Tango Oscar phonetic alphabet. Anyway, what we've got today in this new snapshot is a bunch of clay. And now the most important thing to do with clay is use your imagination. You may have realized I'm on a bit of an imagination kick. Now usually what I like to do first is to kind of make a ball of the clay and then just kind of knead it with my open hand. So here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Till it's, nice and soft and, a little bit rounder maybe. Well, it's not too much rounder yet, but it'll get there. So let's say we go ahead and, knock that out, add another, boom. Oh, wonderful. See, our ball of clay is really coming along now. It's a lot more easy to work now. Now we can go ahead and, roll the ball of clay out until it is, nice and, well, it's going to depend on what we want to make with it. Should we flatten it out and then carve it into something? Like, we could flatten out our ball of clay. Whoops, not flat enough. And then, let's say we wanted to make a key out of it. Right, so we want to have it nice and flat and long. If you imagine the shape of a key, well, usually you got like a bit at the top here, and then you got kind of a little key shaft thing. I don't know what that's called. Oh, and usually you have a hole for the key ring. So we'll put a hole for the key ring here. Then we'll go ahead and have teeth on the key. Boom! Key accomplished. We have accomplished one of our key objectives. Now, it's not fun to just make stuff like that, because, you put that in a real door lock or what have you, and it's probably going to get you in trouble with your parents. So, what else is fun to make out of clay that you can put in things to get trouble with your parents? Well, we are going to need more types of clay, I think. Let's go ahead and grab us some of black clay. And how is that different from the coal? Let's go ahead and try that. Ooh, the coal looks a little bit like obsidian, but not quite. Whereas the black clay is just kind of this darker adobe, which I actually really like the tone on that. That was a good choice, Dinnerbone and Jeb and whoever else worked on that. But let's go ahead and use some of these coal blocks. Nah, let's not do that. Let's use the black clay blocks, and we are going to create for ourselves a nice clay, VHS tape, because you know what? There's nothing your parents love more than when you put a bunch of, clay VHS tapes into your fancy, expensive VCR. So, boom, we've got the two reels and on either side. Now, usually there's like a label that says what's on the tape. So we'll go ahead and use our orange, because this is, what's a movie with an orange label? Well, let's go ahead. I don't want to use green again. I just used green. Well, let's use the other green. Boom. And so now this is going to be the VHS tape for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. Now, a lot of times there'll also be a label on the side here. If we'd made our VHS tape bigger or wider, then we'd be able to, embed that in there. And that's the thing, is you don't want to just always make flat stuff. Sometimes you want to create things that are really, awesome. Now, for example, let's say that you wanted to make a human hand. You'd think, okay, well, I'll go ahead and put in, one of them ankle things that goes on your arm. It's like the wrist thing. So here we got a wrist. And, okay, so what else does a hand have? Well, you got an opposable thumb. So you got a thumb here, and you got fingers kind of coming up here, curving inward. Well, let's see, this isn't really convincing yet, because for one thing, that looks crazy bad. So let's not do that. Let's actually make this longer too, so that way we can accommodate all of the fingers. Okay, so boom. And gonna have to accommodate one more here. So this is a pretty terrible hand thus far, especially because the thumb is kind of just not really working the way a thumb works. Being opposable, it would kind of come up over here and kind of maybe come in more. So it would come up and in. Boom. It's like a terrible factory with smokestacks that just want to grab you. Well, that's the real problem. when you're working with clay and you're just kind of free-forming it, it's really hard to make something three-dimensional that works unless you think about the skeleton of the thing and then give the thing shape. Now, for example, like a lot of people when they work with clay, they'll use like wireframes internally to create the structure of the piece, and then you don't end up with this terrible factory hand here. So let's see, what's something that has a natural skeleton? Well, actually, here's something. See this tree? It's got kind of a trunk skeleton, and then the leaves kind of grow out around it. The bigger trees do that to a more obvious extent, but I don't think we're going to find any of those down in the swamp. Chomp, chomp, chomp. So let's come back up here and let me see. So if I were to actually think about the bones of the arm, you've got your radius and your ulna coming in here, and they kind of meet. It's hard to do a diagonal here. Let's go ahead and use some of this pink clay for the muscles. We're going to have muscle surrounding the bones, because this is only going to go better if we make this more, you know, visually close to how an arm works. Okay, so now we've got like the muscle of the arm, except this would be a little bit thicker here and a little bit thicker here. And those kind of join about here, I guess. Well, they don't join per se, but they kind of come into sync a little bit. They kind of move toward each other. So actually, we'll go ahead and have that kind of move to there at this point. And so then, I'm kind of looking at my wrist here. I really should have looked at actual pictures of hands before doing this. But we're going to want to set this up such that the arm kind of comes in like this here. Three-dimensional sculpting's a little bit harder than sculpting without all of the blocks. Okay, so our arm kind of, let's actually smooth that off. So here's your arm. It kind of comes together into this. Now your bones coming this way. You got kind of your, I really probably should have made the arm bones a lot thicker now that I'm looking at this. Because what we're kind of going to need to do is have this kind of come out like this in a weird way, which is not optimal. But each one of these would eventually kind of morph into the fingers. But I need to kind of come up here. I'm making all these terrible diagonal blocks, which I don't love doing. Probably should even be using a different color for the placeholder ones. Don't want to fall here. And I don't want to be too loud either, because baby Corinne is not the most awake of babies right now, which is fine by me. I'm happy to have a baby that is sleeping peacefully. She was at commencement earlier today, which is the big celebration of people graduating. Actually, this one here, because this is the opposable thumb, this one's going to kind of come up and out this way. So, wow, this is already weirder. So, like, the thumb could kind of come up like that, if that makes sense. And now some of these other ones are going to come up more like this. Actually, we could have them curl inward almost. Oh, that's not going to work very well though, because we're probably going to want to just have them reaching upward. Yeah, that's not ideal, but it's at least happening. Actually, let's expand some of this outward more maybe, and have like. Okay, because I'm going to have 4 fingers, and we're going to set the time today real quick. Okay, so 1 finger here. Maybe I do kind of need something linking this underneath here. That looks a little bit too weird without anything connecting it. And may need something down here as well. So, now of course I still made these too narrow for me to actually come cover these with skin and have it like look realistic. So every part of this video is already essentially a failure of some manner or another. So there's additionally that. Okay. So if I want to have the fingers have room between them, I really need the hand to be a lot wider. Because how much room does this give me here? Not enough. Because then if the next finger is here, that's going to come up like that. My point is that you should learn how to really be a sculptor if you're going to do this, because, well, or you should learn from real sculptors in their techniques, because learning from me is that's the take home here. Learning from Joe Hills will not help you. The job will not save you. Okay, so here we go. So now, well, it's not a great hand, but it's a better hand than this. Okay, so here's the before, where we don't really think about the skeleton. And here's the after, which is kind of terrifying. If we got rid of that, it's slightly less terrifying. If we bring this down to here, and bring that down as well, and expand this out a little bit, it might not be quite so bad. Let's try that real quick. So let's make the whole arm a little bit wider. So you just kind of flesh out your skeleton and add stuff as you need to. So yeah, that's a little bit handier. And we can just use our modeling clay here to now have the fingers act completely like normal fingers would. Yes. And come in like that, and like that. So, terrifying hands, just for you, courtesy of Joe Hills. I kind of feel like this one needs, this opposable thumb is a little bit too, yes, it shouldn't be opposing in that way. It should be opposing more that way. Whoa, that's extra creepy. I don't like that. We'll just leave it like that, I think. And now what should our opposable hand be carrying? Let's give it a sword, because grabbing a sword with your open hand here is like the smartest thing that you can do. So we're going to have this sword hand here, or dagger hand, person grabbing this just fiercely, rawr. Okay. And so this is only going to be more terrible, because I really shouldn't have made something with so many diagonals, but I'm trying to teach you something. Also, I should have figured out what I'm trying to teach you in advance, rather than just kind of making it up as I go. I was like, I'll do something with clay. The kids will love that. Clay is like all the rage on the playground. You know, it's bigger than those, dang it. I was going to say, like, Clay-O cards, but that really doesn't work. It's even bigger than, Poke-Claymon. There it is, Poke-Claymon. Kids love the Poke-Claymon. Okay, so now our hand, this is a terrible sword as well. Every part of this is not ideal. So we will just have that kind of slice into there, maybe. This is now a hand that is being sliced by a sword, which is almost as good. That's actually kind of worse in a lot of ways. What if we go ahead and just make this too tall at the tip here? There we go. Okay, so less terrifying, less blood everywhere. And I guess, or it's holding a seat belt. Buckle up. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make this a seat belt, so it's not sharp. Dang it. And we're gonna learn to properly place our blocks too, guys. I swear. Okay. And so now all we need to do is add a sign. One of these. There's a search names. Of course, I'm better at typing. No, I'm just joking. I'm terrible at typing. So we will put our sign. Put our sign here, and we'll say, "Buckle up. It's the law." Done. And yes. So now we have a seatbelt hand clay thing. Don't forget to buckle up, kids. It's the law. I should probably make this longer, actually. It's the longer law. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, that was an example of something with a basic idea of the skeleton. Now, if I had made those fingers further apart and the arm bigger, I could have actually made the individual bones and then sculpted the flesh around them instead of just kind of having the bones be the hand, which was weird. let's come down here. What else do people like making with clay? I know that people like making those like extruded Play-Doh clay things. Wait, go back to blocks here. Where's the pink one? Pink stained clay. Okay. Oh, did I already have pink out? Let's get the red. Okay. Now, people I know like making animals out of clay. So what we could do here is we can make ourselves like a little clay pig. Oink, 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 oink. And we can now give it a little clay body. Actually, you probably want to put some organs in there. So like, there's his stomach, so he can digest things. And here's his lower intestines. Okay, great. Then we will just cover those up because exposed pig organs are not desirable when you go to market to try and like sell the pig. And then we can just kind of have the pig head kind of be here. And let's see. We'll go ahead and go to our redstone thing here and get some buttons and give it, whoops, don't want a thing there. And what would be a good mouth for it? Well, maybe we'll just use the other button. Yeah, that's real professional. And then we'll go ahead and get our lever here. Because half the fun of clay is that you can just stick stuff in it. So you can be like, okay, so it's got stick and, you know, buttons and yay. And this looks just like a real pig too, okay? Let's look at these guys to compare them. That's just dead on. That is a perfect pig. So yeah, you can make animals, you can make all sorts of stuff. Anyway, that's the fun of Minecraft. Snapshots give us new things that we can play with and make cool things with. So anyway, until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring. And buckle up, it's the law. And stop running and end the recording. And there's a witch house over there. And like and follow. And stop the recording. And I'm on Twitter at twitter.com/JoeHills. And on the Instagram at instagram.com/JoeHillsTSD. And in the witch house at wherever the witch house is. There's no witches. They're all out shopping for pig clay. Wow, that hand is creepier from this side. Wow. Good sculpture is intended to be viewed from every angle. I did not intend this to be viewed from any angle. Go home.